Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's another beach day for me here along the Emerald coast of Florida. I live just about 30 miles north of here. It takes me about 35 minutes to get back and forth. And this area is known for its sugar white sands, or having the whitest sands in the world, and that's because the sands are made out of quartz, and we just love living here. Well, it's retired life for me, and today that I thought that I would share with you some retirement realities that I've experienced. I've been fully retired for 3 years now. The first year I was semi-retired, and then the second 2 years I've been fully retired. And so I've been well in, and I got my feet all wet, and I've gained some knowledge and some experience about this. And I'd like to share these retirement realities with you. Some of them I was anticipating, but quite frankly, some of them have taken me by surprise. And I think that you might can relate, and I hope this is a source of encouragement to you. So let's begin. Number one, a lot of my pre-retirement fears about money were unnecessary. I was very concerned about the money, I think, as most people are, but many of my fears or concerns about money, they were simply overblown. I was overthinking it. It was just blown way out of proportion. And now that I'm retired, I suddenly discovered that life is a lot simpler now than it used to be, and it's not near as expensive as I thought it would be prior to retiring. Particularly if you listen to the retirement experts out there, or the content creators, they just tell you that you need a boatload of money to be able to retire and just do something like this, but it's just not true. Do you know what today's trip cost me? Only the gas to get here, that's it. Now, you may not live close to a beach like this, but I'm certain that wherever you do live, your community has something to offer that you would enjoy just as much as I enjoy this. And it's not expensive, but if I look at the entire picture of my retirement, it is not near as expensive as I thought it would be. In fact, I probably overestimated by 50%. So be encouraged. You can retire on a lot less money than what people tell you can. Number two, even though I'm retired, I'm still busy right now, and I'm still living a very active lifestyle, but I feel no pressure to keep myself busy just for the sake of being busy. And I mean, why would I? I worked for 50 years. I was busy all the time. And I feel no compulsion or obligation to keep myself busy by doing something every day, every single day, all day long, just for the sake of staying busy. Some people think that you're lazy if you're not busy all the time. Well, who cares what they got to think? It's my life, and I'm living it. You see, I'm busy today, but guess what I'm doing today? Exactly what I want to do. I can be busy doing this, or I can be busy in a cubicle somewhere. So that answers that for me. Number three, I enjoy no longer living a public life. Now, when I was working, I lived a very visible and public life. I lived in a fishbowl. I was always in somebody's headlights. I couldn't go anywhere without somebody I didn't know recognizing me, wanting to engage me in conversation. And it was a little unsettling at times. And I just didn't like the public scrutiny. I was very visible. I lived in the fishbowl. I had letters beside my name. I had a title before my name. But now that I'm retired, all of that's gone, and I live my life in complete obscurity. And you know what? I just absolutely love it. There's nothing better than living in obscurity in retirement without 1,000 people clawing at your life all the time. I'm simply known as Ronnie now by the people that matter most to me. Number four, the recreational opportunities are endless in retirement. You know, before we retire, we come up with this retirement plan, and we come up with this bucket list of items that we have to check off of our bucket list. And people always say that you need to have something to retire to, and so forth and so on. Well, guess what? This is what I retired to. I retired to this right here. Something that I discovered after I left the full-time workforce is the bucket list that I once had all of a sudden no longer means anything to me. I think we come up with those retirement plans and we come up with those bucket lists of things that we want to do when we're working, because that becomes our escape plan of what we would like to do. But guess what? When you get out of the pressure cooker and you're no longer having to deal with all that work-related stress and life is open-ended to you and the opportunities are endless, you no longer feel like you have to live according to a script that you even wrote for yourself. So you can change hobbies, you can change pursuits. What I'm trying to say is retirement life is fluid and it's open-ended, and you can change your plan after you retire, and it's fantastic to be able to do that. Number 5, I find myself saying no a lot more often than I used to. Now, when I was working, because of the vocation that I was in, and I'm sure it's the same way for you, I would get asked to do this or to do that, or you need to do this or you need to do that, and I would feel compelled, and maybe I was compelled to do a lot of things that I really didn't want to do that much. And we do that when we're working. But now that I'm retired, people will think that because I'm retired, I have free time to do what they want to do. They'll come up to me and say, hey, Ron, now that you're retired, you've got the time. You can really volunteer for this or you can volunteer for that. But I don't. Because now my time is my time. My time is precious to me. And I realize that I don't have to say yes just because somebody asks me. Every time I say no to someone else, I'm saying yes to myself. I'm saying yes to what I want. That's another beautiful thing about retirement. Number 6, and this is kind of sobering to me, a lot of people that I know that are around my age, give or take a few years back and up and down, but a lot of people that I know are getting sick and they're dying right now. I know no fewer than 6 people who have been recently diagnosed with cancer. They're in their 60s and they're fighting for their life. Several of my classmates have recently died. It's astonishing. And it's very sobering to think about that. And this was a retirement reality that has caught me by surprise. Whenever I look around and see people of my age and friends of mine and people that I know personally, they're getting sick with life-altering illnesses or they're dying suddenly, it's got my attention. And I'll tell you something, I am grateful for every day of life that I have. I'm grateful for every day of good health that I have remaining. And I'm grateful for every day that I get to do this. Number 7, another retirement reality that has recently struck me and my wife is we're getting our legal affairs in order. Now, we're overdue about this. I'm talking about things like the will, what we're going to do with our house when we pass. We've right now working on a transfer upon death property deed so that we can pass along to our children. We're getting a will made out. We're making decisions about our assets and how that's going to be done. And the reason we're doing this is because if we've spent a lifetime building up our wealth and building up a life for ourselves, and something were to suddenly happen to us, we don't want all of our property and assets to wind up in, we don't want it to wind up in probate. And so we're getting our legal affairs in order so that we and our beneficiaries have control of those things. And I would suggest that to you as well. Don't wait too long to get your affairs in order. When you see people around you getting sick and dying suddenly without warning, things like that, you need to get your legal affairs in order. All right, number 8, let's move on to one final one, and it's a little more positive. I'm glad that I was able to choose to retire myself instead of it being decided for me. Did you know that most people do not get to choose the retirement date voluntarily? That's right, most people don't get to choose the day that they retire. Someone else or other life events decide for them. According to a recent report from the Trans-America Retirement Survey, almost 60% of American employees are forced out before they're ready. And that's true of all retirees. And it could be your health, it could be company layoffs, it could be company mergers, downsizing. and then all of a sudden a 58-year-old finds himself competing with employees half their age. And so I'm glad that I wasn't forced out. I'm glad that my health didn't force me out. I'm glad that a company didn't downsize and force me out. I'm glad that Ronnie chose for himself. I am so thankful that I took control of my future instead of leaving my future to chance. Well, there you go. Those are my reasons, and those are the life experiences that I've encountered since have been retired. And I'd like to thank you for stopping by. Please like and subscribe, and also just be sure to hit that thumbs up button that you'll find down below, because by doing so, it really helps the channel out. I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we'll see you next time.